All right. So thank you for coming. It's a small group, and that's always best. So Coafrica, we started basically in 2019. And what it is the Co in Coafrica stands for coalition. And really what we're here tonight to talk about is why we like coalitions. And we have a fantastic coalition partner, Mathias, and we'll talk about him in a minute. But we're so grateful for him and for the opportunity that that's giving us as Coafrica to be able to expand and support education in Africa. So just really quick as a reminder, our vision is a world where every child has access to a classroom, and our mission is to unleash the power of education for African children by partnering with local communities to construct classrooms. And so that's what we do in a nutshell. And we basically have been doing 12 classroom blocks, where there's 4 classrooms in each block. So we're doing about 48 a year. And it's really been a humbling experience to see that. And so really we're grateful to be able to have you here with us and to talk about that. And I think when we talk about kind of our objective for you tonight is to walk away with a desire to be more Christ-like. That's really the bottom line. And we love what we do, and we love to share what we do. And if you like what we do, that's great. But in all cases, we hope that you find a greater heart, a greater warmth to be able to do more. And I went there in 2020, in February, and I kind of had health problems from September 2020 through 2020 and 2023. So that experience over there, I've visited about 25 schools in 3 different countries, and I did not see a piece of paper other than the piece of paper that says we have 23 girls and 24 boys in 1st grade. So the teacher's room has just one piece of paper. I didn't see a piece of paper. So they have a chalkboard, and the kids, and what goes up on the chalkboard is very much like what you see in the US. Very intricate stuff on science. I'm not a science person, and when I'm looking at the board, I'm giving them the same looks I gave my 8th grade teachers. And so they have the ability, the kids have the ability to learn. But anyway, so tonight, Mathias Zimba, he's got a great portfolio of what he's done in his life. And he's, first of all, a great example to us. And so what Mathias, he lives in Zambia, excuse me, and it's actually over on the eastern side. And so let me just read what I have here. So he's most important to us, but not to him, is he's our project coordinator for all of our Zambian program things we do going forward. And so we're grateful for that. And he's very qualified for that. And this is why we talk about coalitions. So we as Americans, we know a lot, and we're really smart. So we understand everybody's problems all over the world, and we can go tell them how to do things. And so one of the premises of this coalition is to understand, and really another really tenet that's really important to us is we're here to have Africans help Africans. And we facilitate that primarily through financial means and through doing validation checks and confirmation that our partners, our coalition partners, are people that are to be trusted and to do those things that really benefit our society. Anyway, so Mathias, just a real quick, so 2 years ago, Mathias, we had built one school in Zambia before we met Mathias, and this was in 2021. And Mathias knew about that school had been built, so he actually contacted us 2 years ago. And last year, we started building a school, and he was our program manager, and he managed the construction of the school and the oversight, which is huge. So we're not much good. We're a long ways away from Zambia. And so Mathias identified the school and his qualifications for identifying the school. So he has 26 years practical experience in social development programs in Zambia, project and program development and delivery, including monitoring and evaluating school feeding programs, access to financial services, sustainable forestation, HIV and AIDS prevention, clean water, sanitation, gender equality, women's rights, and micro enterprise development projects. Is there anything else that you could possibly be doing? I think that kind of covers all the major issues that really exist there. And the reason for that is because Mathias is the executive director, the founder of Rising Fountains Development Program, which is what his shirt shows there. And he started this nonprofit and primarily volunteers this time to help coordinate nonprofit efforts. And so they have all those programs from all those various areas for two major districts in Zambia. And those two districts happen to be where the highest poverty is. And so from my American viewpoint, what I see in Africa is when you go to the big cities have all the things that schools are mainly there for them. And when you leave the city is when you leave the government helping the kids in the schools. They do provide teachers, but as far as facilities go, it's a nightmare. And so there's 93 million kids that are out of school in Africa. And so what we do is we try to provide a reason for that. And so this year, and we'll have Mathias show pictures, but we have changed the dynamic of what the kids do, and he'll talk about what the outcome is. So in addition to that, Mathias is the director over programs for Mary's Mills, MARYS and MEALS. And what that is when you look it up in the United States, there's 13 million, and I think there's about 30 million of annual money provided from the England organization as well. So there's $43 million, and what that is that's money to pay for porridge. For the Mary's Mills puts that into schools. So what they do is Mary's Mills has a very refined process and defines who gets the porridge. And so you go through and you have to make sure you understand what it is that they have, what qualifications, and if they qualify and they're in the area where Mary's Mills works, then they provide food. Mathias and I both went down to Salt Lake today and went through Welfare Square, and they talk about which country was it? Do you remember? Ethiopia in 2004 had a food shortage, and the church converted their dairy stuff to this porridge and provided like 800 tons of porridge to Ethiopians. Mary's Mill in Zambia provides how much a month?
900 metric tons per month.
900 metric tons per month. So that's where the $43 million is going, and it's not just in Zambia. You're in
Malawi, Zimbabwe, Mozambique now, Liberia, Kenya, and we also in the Ecuador and other countries in the Caribbean and Asia.
Great. So Mathias, this kind of got thrown together really late because Mathias, I didn't know about this, but his Rising Fountain organization has an agreement with University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and they were sending him over this last week. And so I found out about it and said, well, we're going to send him from Chapel Hill to the best place in the world. And so he gets to see our mountains and our beauty and BYU. And, he gets to see BYU football tomorrow, whether he wants to or not. So that's what we're excited for. So let's welcome Mathias and give him a warm welcome tonight. All right, Mathias. Let's see, so we can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for having me here in Yoga. It's a nice place. I went to the mountains yesterday. It was very nice. Yeah, and the temple square is very amazing actually, and I'm happy to be here. And thank you so much for hosting me. And maybe before I come to this presentation, I just want to talk a bit about Rising Fountains Development Program, which is a partner of Coafrica. So we are a local organization based in Zambia, and so that I don't lose my focus. So our vision as Rising Fountains is actually to see to it that women and children in Zambia live healthy lives, and so that is our target group. And so we do this by implementing a number of interventions. And so the first intervention that we are focusing on is actually contributing to improving primary health care at community level. We are working on improving education outcomes in schools. That is where Coafrica comes in to partner with us. We are also looking at improving and promoting financial inclusion amongst the women and men that do not have access to financial services at community level. But like what we heard, we are also implementing activities to do with gender equality, forest, sustainable forest management, and livelihood. So these are basically our main focus areas. And so I want to talk about the education outcomes as our main topic today. And before I come to my presentation,
can you switch spots? Can you sit here and I will help manage your computer?
Okay.
That's great. Did you want to show the video now?
Yeah, maybe before. Yeah, I think we can show a video before I start talking.
Okay.
Yeah, so we partnered with Coafrica and we built a school. So there's a short video that I want to show about our impact in Zambia. Of course, another focus area for Rising Fountains Development Program is actually improving basic education through providing care and support for orphans and vulnerable children.
At Rising Fountain, we've got two focus areas where we are working on. The first one, we are working with orphans and vulnerable children, where we are helping vulnerable children through distribution of books, uniforms, pencils. We are also paying school fees for vulnerable children.
With a total population of 200 pupils, Mkuzeni Primary School in Mambwe District has been grappling with limited learning spaces since its inception in 2002. The pupils at this school have been enduring lessons in temporary shelters that are unfit for learning. However, the Rising Foundation Development Program, with funding from Coafrica, has constructed a 1x4 classroom block. The Province Minister Peter Piri graced the handover ceremony. I am happy to report that the number of pupils in schools from early childhood education to grade 12 in the province in 2023 increased to 711,176 from 643,343 in 2022, representing a 10.5% increase. It is goal and hope that the provision of good learning facility motivated in the Kusini area will be able to access primary education, which is the foundation for a child's development. Therefore, collaboration between RFDP Zambia and Coafrica seeks to give children a chance to get quality education by providing a safe and conducive environment.
It should have enough textbooks. It should have sufficient teachers and staff and administration. There should be enough toilets. Please do your part. This is a government school, and therefore the government should also bring what is missing to implement.
Zanis, Mambwe District is the province.
So we just wanted to show you what we've done in Zambia. I expected you to give us a hand of applause, of course.
One thing really quick, that Marcy is our director, and she's unfortunately has a freshman at Utah State, and it's parent night, so she's really here. But when she did that, Mathias, what was the result of her? This was on a live TV broadcast, was it?
It was on national TV.
Yeah, and so what did the government do?
Yeah, so when we actually handed over the school, during the handover ceremony, Marcy and myself, we told government, we have done our part. Okay, we have given you a classroom block, and the school doesn't have desks, so do your part as government. And immediately when Marcy spoke, the district education board secretary who's in charge of education in that district actually stood up and said, we are promising to bring in 120 desks next week. And the following week, those are the desks you've seen actually in the video were brought to the school. So I want to mention why, before I come to this presentation, why are we doing what we are doing with Coafrica in Zambia? And so that all of us will know why we are doing this. Okay. Okay, so according to World Bank, Zambia adult literacy rate is very, very high. Okay, and according to statistics, it shows that 87.5% of the people in Zambia were actually illiterate. We are illiterate. This means that 7.5% of the people aged 15 and older can read and write very short, simple statements about their daily lives. So we can tell that illiteracy levels in Zambia are very high. Child literacy, however, the percentage of children who are illiterate remains very high. And in 2015, 65% of grade 2 students scored 0 on the early grade reading assessment, meaning they could not read any weight. Okay, and female illiteracy levels are also quite high in the country. Okay, so this is why we come in actually as NGOs to ensure that we solve this problem. What can we do in order to improve education outcomes in Zambia? And so one of the interventions that we are doing to improve education outcomes in Zambia is to provide learning spaces to the school, to children who do not have actually proper learning spaces in Zambia. And so this is the reason why we promote construction of classrooms in Zambia in order to provide adequate, conducive environment for learners to learn from, so that they can actually concentrate in school, they can participate, and at the end of the day, they can progress and finish their education and contribute to the development of the country. So, Kuzieni Primary School had 3 shelters. Have you seen that one before? The shelter. So when I went there one of these fine days, when I went to do my monitoring visits, because I think I also work with Mary's Meals, then I visited the school, and those are the shelters I found at school. And then I was very touched and said, what is it that I can do in order to help this school? Then Coafrica came in my mind. I said, no, there are people who can help, I think. So that's how I started communicating with the Coafrica, and that is how we agreed to build the school in Mabwe district at Kozeni, and we handed over the school in June, and Mercy, of course, came down to Africa, to Africa to come and hand over the school. So, of course, this is the history of African Classroom Coalition, and we are saying coalition or partnership are very, very important, because without partners, of course, Coafrica cannot, they are not in Zambia, they are not in Africa, you are here. Ourselves, we are not here, we are in Zambia. So collaboration and partnership is very, very important, because then we can achieve the goal that we want to achieve if we actually collaborate. So our work as Rising Fountains to Women program is anchored on actually building partnership with a lot of organizations that provide support to the learners. And so that is how that's the importance of actually of our partnerships. So of course, this is the history of Coafrica 176 classrooms built, which is actually a huge milestone for Coafrica. 2,000 plus students impacted, 42 projects, and hundreds of villages engaged. This is actually a very big milestone. We'll move to the next slide.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a correction. Ghana is not down south. It's actually up here in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a picture. That's Zimbabwe.
Oh, yeah.
I think Zimbabwe, yeah, those 3 bottom arrows are the 3 arrows
Oh, yeah.
that are pointing in the right direction. But so we're in these different countries doing similar things to what we have here. Let's see.
So that is me when we just started building that nice structure that you're seeing. So I was actually in the foundation, and those were the builders at the site. And before we started constructing, we did a soil testing, because this area is actually in the valley close to South Ruangwa National Park, so the soils are not stable. So for us to build a building which is to actually stand the test of time, we thought of actually doing soil testing to ascertain the soil structure, and so that we know what interventions we can do to ensure that the building is not going to crack. Because we learned a lesson from our previous project that we did. We built another classroom at that particular school, because the building was cut in half. So because they didn't do a good job when, of course, they didn't do soil testing, and they didn't reinforce with the methods that you can see. So learning from our past experience, of course, not us who built another organization, as we built a new classroom block, which we reinforced with methods. So we learned from that project that we did, and no wonder we actually did soil testing. But I want to mention that in other parts of the country, like in the plateau area, we don't need soil testing stand, because the soils are very stable in that area. So next slide. So of course, the main vision for Rising Fountains is to improve livelihoods of women and children in rural Zambia through community mobilization, partnership, capacity building, and advocacy. No wonder I said we believe in creating partnerships with a lot of organizations, because we know that together will be able to achieve the goal. So we actually create partnership, also build capacity in the people that we're working with in various areas. If we are doing financial inclusion, we build capacity in the local people on financial inclusion, on education outcomes, we build capacity in the teachers and the people that we're working with to ensure that together we can improve education outcomes. And there's actually a quote there. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. And therefore, working together is success. So if we work together, we can succeed. Of course, on our own as Rising Fountains, if we work on our own, we cannot succeed. We cannot see progress. So working together actually brings success. It brings a lot of progress.
Yeah, just a couple of things. What was the literacy rate?
Come again?
What was the literacy rate? The literacy?
See?
Literacy. How many illiterate people are there?
Illiterate,
Yeah.
87 point. The literacy levels is actually 87.5%.
So there's 87% that are literate.
Yeah, those that can write short sentences about their lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which means that we've got 23.5% who are illiterate, who cannot read or write. Yeah.
So the school came in June, and what's the impact of that?
So when we handed over the school, we had 100. When we started building the school, we had 187 children at this particular school. But immediately when we handed over the school, one of the outcome that we saw is the increase in the number of learners at this school. So we recorded actually a total increase of 49% increase. So from 187 to over 250 learners in the shortest period in actually 4 months. Okay, so this is one of the milestones that we achieved. This is the impact that the project has actually done on the actually in that particular area. And again, we have seen attendance rates increasing at school because now learners can go to school because they've got a desk where they can sit on. They've got a nice classroom block. Because before we constructed, and in the rain season, people were actually, children, when the rains come, they could stop classes because the roofs were leaking and they could not manage to continue learning. So they have to abandon classes, stop classes, children have to be sent home. And so children were not spending a lot of time in school because of the environment, but now they're able to spend a lot of time. So we can see number one, attendance rate actually increasing at school. We have also seen now community engagement has improved at school because there's a reason why community members have to come to school, and there's a reason why the parents actually have to come to school. So this was Zen before, and this is actually the current Zen. So everyone when he's passing through this place, they're just amazed with the work that we did. And so we can also see a lot of children spending a lot of time now in school because they have a classroom block, which is very beautiful. So this is the impact that we have recorded, and we expect to see the impact at the end of this year, because we also want to measure impact in terms of progression rates of learners from grade 7 now to grade 8. We expect that because now they're able to concentrate in class, they are able to spend more time in school with the teachers. We expect that pass rates will increase. So the first year when we're going to measure actually this outcome indicator is actually this year, the next year, to see how the progression rate will be, how many children will be able to progress from grade 7 to grade 8, and now that we have got the facility at school. So these are some of the impacts that we have recorded because of the school. That is Magazine Primary School. I don't know if you've seen it before. the first school in Zambia that Coafrica built, and this is the second school that Coafrica built, and we want a third one here, Stan. The fourth one here, the fifth one.
That's what you're talking about. That's what he's asking us.
Yeah.
Are they going to build the second, the third, and the fourth?
Yeah, so next
Exactly.
slide. Next slide.
Exactly.
So the future for Chitila Primary School. So we have a number of schools that are in the same state in Zambia. I only mentioned about one school. We have Chitila, I can remember Formal. We have Kanyalubwe, is at my heart. We have Luasoku. We have Chiringoma, and we have another one, Kamburi Primary. So I've got 5 on standby. So Chitila is one of the schools that we have, and when we were actually handing over the Kuziani Primary School, the provincial minister mentioned that if you have the capacity, please assist that school. So the picture you're seeing is the whole lot of the school. That's a school. It has got 3 classroom blocks. Those are classroom blocks.
And they do staggered schedules, so they do
Yes.
morning has some group, and then
Yes.
the afternoon some other group.
Yeah. So you can see 3 small huts and 1 outdoor space for classroom. So when we went there with Mercy, because there are only 3 small huts, the other class was actually learning under a tree, and the teacher was actually busy teaching under a tree because those were not enough. Because that school has got about 7 grades. So those are 3, which means that the other grades will come in the morning. The 3 grades will come in the morning. They occupy those 3 shelters. And the other 3 grades will come in the afternoon. They will occupy those shelters. But the other one, they don't have where to sit, so they have to sit outside on the bricks. And so that is where they learn from. So school schedule, due to lack of classroom, split schedule for grade 7, take turns using a classroom. Closest nearby schools are 12 to 18 kilometers away. So that school is actually isolated, very far away, with a bigger community. And we drove there with Mercy. We drove there, and she knows actually, because we talk about and on the dust road, not the roads like you have in here in water. On the dust road, we drove and we went to that school. So the picture you're seeing, the 4 people that you're seeing there, is Mercy there. There was the man in a jacket and in a tie. He's actually the district education board secretary, the big boy in the education sector in the district. And the guy you can see there, number 4, is the guy who's speaking here. And the guy at the end is actually the district planner, the one who plans for the district. So all of them, we got them, and we went with them actually to the site to ensure that we see the site and we speak to the community. The communities are very, very ready to contribute their part, because what we do is that we want actually community involvement and community ownership. So we don't want to do everything on our own. As Coafrican Rising Fountains, we say, okay, community, here we are. We have got a classroom block that we want to bring to you. What is it that you're going to do? Okay, so they bring, locally available materials that they manage to bring to the site, and they also provide unskilled labor to assist the bricklayers to when they are building. They also assist like drawing of water when the building is actually being constructed. So this school has got actually 327 students enrolled and 90% attendance rate at the school. Like that, children still coming. Okay, there's actually potential to increase the enrollment by 100 to 200 students from the local area, because the community is quite big, and because of the condition of the classes. So children are not able to come. So this is one of the schools that we are looking at helping, and the schools that I've mentioned, Kanyarubwe, Wasuku, are also in the same state. So we have got a lot of schools that are in the same state that need our support. Next slide. Yeah, so I think these are some of the schools. I think maybe you would have seen them before that Coafrica has constructed. And so our role is actually to spread the word about the work that we're doing, Rising Fountains and Coafrica. So we need to become advocates of building classrooms here in Utah. And why, why should we build classrooms? Number one, it improves education. Okay, so building classrooms in Zambia is important because it improves education, it reduces literacy rates, it creates a better future for children. So we need to be part and parcel of creating a better future for the children. So new classrooms can help improve learning outcomes and reduce the number of children who fail to complete their education. But again, it reduces illiteracy, and so building classrooms can help reduce illiteracy levels amongst the children. But it can also help the children to create a better future for the children. But again, it also helps the community to have somewhere where they can meet when they've got different types of meetings and different development interventions that they are discussing. They'll be able to meet at a school and discuss those development interventions. So building a classroom block has got a lot of outcomes amongst the populations and the children. So this is what I wanted to share with you this evening, that this is the job that we are doing in Zambia with Coafrica, and so we need to become advocates for this noble cause that we are doing.
Great,
Thank you, Stan.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.